Yes, the doctor will be in with you soon to give you the tetanus vaccine and dress the wound on your foot. I want to thank you again for answering the brief screen questionnaire. While you're waiting for the doctor to come in, is it okay if I ask you some more questions about your substance use?
I guess so. Why all the questions?
We're conducting substance use screens for all our patients because we found that substance use can strongly affect overall health, and we want to provide our patients with the best care possible. I appreciate you letting me ask you these few questions.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to answer those questions for me. Would you mind taking a few minutes to talk with me about your screening results?
As long as I'm waiting, why not? I'm a bit curious to what this all means.
Okay. The screening indicates that you fall into what we call the moderate risk category, which means you're at a moderate risk for developing alcohol-related problems such as high blood pressure and liver diseases in the future. It also increases your risk for alcohol-related injury and social or emotional difficulties. What do you think about this information?
Well, my father and my uncle had high blood pressure, and I wasn't aware that drinking had anything to do with that. I don't really consider myself to be a heavy drinker. When I drink, I'm more social.
From what we know about alcohol consumption, men your age who have 14 or more drinks in a week or exceed 4 drinks in one day are more likely to experience these health problems. What we recommend to our patients who fall into the moderate risk levels is that they take some steps to cut back to prevent future problems. What are your thoughts about cutting back on your drinking?
Well, I often drink more than that, and I'm fine. I'm not convinced that it's really necessary. I mean, I own a restaurant, and having a drink with my regular customers is part of doing business.
Sounds like your restaurant is a good place for your customers to relax and unwind with you.
I mean, people come into my place to have a good time, hang out with their friends. I like to make them feel at home.
So what I'm hearing you say is that drinking is important to maintaining relationships with your customers.
Yeah, and if I don't share a glass of wine or a beer with my guests, then it'll look like I disapprove or something. I'll be like a wet blanket if I refuse a drink.
Your relationship with your customers is important to you, and you're worried about what they might think if you don't enjoy a drink with them. What are some downsides to drinking with your guests every night?
Put on a bit of weight. That makes it more difficult to do things around the house and in the restaurant. I'm guessing that drinking every night has something to do with that. I did try to cut back a few years ago when I got too busy with the restaurant to work out regularly, and I started to put on weight, but it was really hard for me to stick to only a few drinks.
On one hand, it can be difficult to cut back when drinking is a part of your livelihood. And on the other, the additional weight could be an issue for you if you're not as active as you were before. Can you tell me on the scale from 0 to 10, with 0 being not at all ready to cut back on your drinking and 10 being 100% ready, where do you see yourself in terms of cutting down now?
I'd say I'm about a 6.
A 6 sounds like you have put a little bit of thought into it. Why did you choose a 6 instead of a 4 or a 5?
I can see how drinking is adding a few more pounds every year and probably keeping me from being as active as I should be. And I also don't want to deal with high blood pressure like my father and his brother.
So socializing over a beer or a glass of wine is part of how you develop relationships with your customers, but you're concerned about your weight and your future health. So if you were to try cutting back, what are some things you could tell your customers to help explain why you're drinking less?
Well, I would still sit and talk with them, but I'd tell them I can't drink because of health concerns.
How do you think they would react to that?
Oh, they'd be fine with it, I guess. Enough of them can probably relate and would understand if I said it was for health reasons.
I think you're right. Now, on the same scale from 0 to 10, 0 being not at all confident and 10 being extremely confident, where do you see yourself in being confident that you would be able to cut down on your alcohol consumption?
I'm about a 7 in my confidence cut back.
It sounds like you're pretty confident in your ability, Joe. What makes you a 7 and not a 5?
Well, I know that if I just tell my customers I'm looking out for my health, that they'll be supportive. And I guess I don't really need or crave it. I can substitute with water or something else. Once I lose a bit of weight, I'll be even more confident about sticking with my goal.
I think that's a great plan, Joe. What I hear you saying is you're concerned about the impact alcohol is having on your weight and could potentially have on your blood pressure. You're confident that you can cut back by substituting alcohol with something else and would share with your customers that you're looking out for your health. Did I miss anything? Or do you have any questions about our conversation?
No, I think you covered it all. Makes sense to me.
Great. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me about your health today. I'd like to check in with you at our next visit to see how the change is going for you. Would that work out?
Okay, yeah, that would work. Thanks.